Good evening and welcome to the National Sim Racing Iroc series here at Atlanta. Practice is just wrapping up right now at the moment, and let me switch the ad. There we go. National Sim Racing Iroc series at Atlanta, presented by IRD Racing. And tonight we're here at Old Atlanta in the Chevy Corvette C8.R. Or C6R, I apologize. C6R. Got a field of 9 drivers here, and qualifying is just getting underway. 1 lap qualifying here at Atlanta for the Iroc Series. Let's take a look at Nicholas Pressey. Getting up to speed on the apron to do his lone qualifying lap. Running high to get as much of a run down the straights as possible as he starts to take his first qualifying lap, and it's the only one that he can take. Running a little bit off the bottom through the center of the corner. I might sacrifice a little bit of time, but he's going to come across the stripe and set a 30.231. See, let's look at Ray Partridge coming through turns 3 and 4. Let's see what time he sets when he crosses the stripe in car number 7. Flips the grass a little bit, 30.334 for Partridge. That's going to move him up into the 2nd position. Let's go to the 2 of Mark Sikoshi coming out of turn 2 on his only lap. Out of turn number 4, coming across the stripe, he's going to set a 30.313. Good enough for 2nd on, or nope, I apologize, 3rd on the board right now. John Bittler coming out of turn number 4 to complete his only lap. Gonna be a 30.429, good enough for 7th on the board. And Crumley just crossed the line with a 493, currently 8th. And last car to set a time is going to be the number 45 of Colton English, rolling out on track right now. Comes across the stripe to start his first qualifying lap. A really loose race car, that number 45, is running a lane off of the bottom. That's going to sacrifice some time. He's still running about a lane off the bottom, so that is going to be pole time as he was very squirrely. In turns 1 and 2, 30.506. It's going to put him at the bottom of the board in 9th. So we have 9 cars in the field tonight for a 50-lap tilt here at Atlanta. And that's going to conclude qualifying. Still got about a minute left here. So just want to use this time to give a shout out to our sponsor, IRD Racing, out of Florida. specializing in real-world racing products such as carburetors and fuel injection machinery. And they do a great job. They specialize everything from circle track racing to road course racing to even drag racing. If it goes fast on four wheels, IRD Racing probably has something for it. And there's a reason through their excellent services and customer service that they're called the king of carburetors and are regarded as an industry leader in the field of fuel injection. So if you want to take your real world racing program to the next level, don't be afraid to give the people at IRD Racing a call, because they will take you to the next level. And there's a reason why people call them the king of carburetors. IRD Racing, big thanks to them for making this broadcast possible. Qualifying has just concluded, so let's get your starting lineup up on the screen real quick. Starting on pole is going to be car number 940 of Nicholas Pressey. On his outside is going to be the 46 of Dawson Kent. Starting in third on the inside of run number 2 is going to be Mark Sikoshi. And on his outside is going to be number 7 of Ray Partridge. Rounding out your top 5 is going to be Brian Wiggins in car number 5. And on his outside is going to be the other Wiggins of Robert Wiggins in car 26. Row number 4 is going to be series sponsor John Bittler. And on his outside is going to be last night's All-Star winner Jason Crumley in car number 9. And rounding out your field of 9 cars is going to be car number 45, Colton English, in row number 5. So 9 cars for a 50-lap tilt. According to my handy little calculator, this race should only take about 25 minutes. So nice little short race for us to enjoy. And with these Iroc Chevy Corvette C6Rs, they should be a ton of fun to watch. Coming through turns 3 and 4, Nicholas Pressey getting ready to lead this field of 9 cars to the green flag. But definitely going to have to see what Dawson Kent and Ray Partridge can do on the outside, as they're definitely going to have a good run down the straightaways here. Pace car is in, green flag is out, and Nicholas Pressey steps on the loud pedal. But Dawson Kent with a great restart, or a great start to this race, hanging steady with the outside of car number 3. Got a little bit loose. He has to chase it up the track. He's going to get cleared by Pressey. Now Pressey's going to shift to the high side on exit. Kent's going to try to use that momentum to get a crossover done on car number 940. So move Dawson Kent to the lead before even half of the first lap is done. Pressey riding up the track. Sikoshi now to his inside. Brian Wiggins right behind Pressey. But give the first lap to Dawson Kent. But a big run by Nicholas Pressey to the outside of Dawson Kent. Kent's going to try to cut off Pressey, but Pressey's going to dive low and cut to the inside of Kent. Brian Wiggins thought about making it 3 wide, but thought better of it with Sikoshi on his inside. And now Nicholas Pressey going to move his way back to the front on lap number 2, taking back the lead from Dawson Kent. But Kent with a big run on the outside. Wiggins looking for a place to go. Racing each other quite closely in 1 and 2. Kent's going to have the run down the back straightaway. Does Wiggins try to push him? Wiggins going to make it 3 wide all the way on the inside. 3 wide for the lead here at Atlanta. Wiggins all the way on the bottom. He's going to get the move made on Kent. Can he get it made on Pressey? Not clear just yet of Pressey, but Pressey's going to assume control of the outside line right in front of Dawson Kent. Here comes Mark Sikoshi looking to help out Wiggins on the inside. And number 5 of Wiggins looking remarkably stable right now as he thought about clearing up towards Pressey, but he was not able to do so. Now Pressey gets a run on the outside. The 26 of Robert Wiggins looked really squirrely in the back for a second, but the field really compacting on exit. And it's going to be Pressey leading that lap across the stripe with a big charge on the outside. But Wiggins, with a shorter way around the track, going to take control of the lead for this corner at least. All comes down to how well you can get a run down the backstretch. You can see Pressey. Oh, Kent got on the wall. Oh, Kent hard into the wall. That's Robert Wiggins around. Oh, that is a tough hit for car number 26. We saw Dawson Kent get loose at the outside wall, and then Robert Wiggins' car spiraled like a frisbee, or spun like a frisbee, in turn 3. So let's get a replay to see what happened to car number 26. So looking at it, that blue car is Dawson Kent. Looks like he just went up the track a little bit too hard, got into the outside wall, and then Robert Wiggins right behind him, nowhere for him to go as Kent's trying to get control of this. And taps Kent a little bit as he's slowing down, and that just brought him right into the outside wall. Jason Crumley and Colton English just so lucky not to get a piece of that. I think if Colton English was a tenth of a second behind where he currently was, he would have been clobbered in the right rear and been another casualty of that accident. But unfortunately for Kent and Wiggins, that is most likely going to be the end of their Iroc race at Atlanta, only 6 laps in. But Brian Wiggins leading the field under caution. No one opting to go into pit lane. So your top 5 at the moment is Brian Wiggins, Nicholas Pressey, Mark Sakoshi, Ray Partridge, and John Bittler. So I believe this time by the pace car lights will go out. And so we'll be going green this time by. So the restart will be when these cars cross the line, coming to lap number 9 out of 50 here at Atlanta. Looks like it's a single file restart here for the Iroc series, so that should help out the bunching up for at least a lap or two, and then we'll go back to 2 and 3 wide racing. So one car that actually did go into pit lane was Jason Crumley. Maybe it was to check for damage since he was really close to that wreck. But I don't think that the tires would degrade that much in 5 laps. These cars are pretty light and nimble with a lot of downforce. But the old surface of Atlanta might be a little bit of a boon to these tires. But either way, pace car just about to make the hard left turn into pit lane. So pace car is in, and green flag is out. Big stack up for the entire field as Pressey had a jab on the brakes not to run to the back of Wiggins, and that really separated out the field. You can see Bittler already making a move on Ray Partridge. But yeah, with that little with that little stack up, the field is all sorts of spread out. Luckily, with the single file restart, people had the ability to dodge out of the way without going into the car below them. But the ideal restart for Wiggins, but now Pressey with a huge head of steam, going to peek to his outside to try and take the lead in turns 1 and 2. Mark Sikochi looks like he's going to go with Wiggins. Not with Wiggins, with Pressey on the high side here at Atlanta. We're still about dead even between Wiggins and Pressey in turn 3. Wiggins going to nose ahead of Pressey, but not able to clear him on exit. Pressey's going to have a big run coming through the quad oval here, and they should be dead even entering turn 1. Bittler and Partridge starting to enter into the picture here as they finally caught the leaders once again after that early restart stack up. But Crumley starting to fall back from the draft here. Sikoshi on the inside helping out Wiggins, but everyone else running that second lane. So maybe the momentum's going to start favoring that outside lane once Bittler and Partridge start getting real close to Pressey. But for the time being, Brian Wiggins doing a good job of holding the fort in front of a field of hungry Corvettes right behind him. You see the outside line starting to get formed, and they have more cars compared to that inside line. So that's less drag for the outside line as a whole, resulting in more speed. But Pressey not able to build up the run to get around Wiggins just yet. But I think it's a matter of when Pressey will get that run. But Partridge dives back down low, so that's not helping them out through the corner. A little bit of a loose moment from Pressey. Wiggins went to go low to try and block Sikoshi and lost a little bit of momentum, but you saw how sideways Pressey got down the back straightaway after a bump from Bittler. So Pressey very lucky that he didn't get cleared by Wiggins right there, but also very lucky that he didn't get turned straight into the wall after a bump from that 8 car. Pressey going to shoot out of a cannon out of the corner here. Going to try to get a helpful push from Bittler. Going to nose ahead in turn 3, but Wiggins still there. And Crumley has now caught back up to the lead pack. Coming to lap number 15, Pressey takes it by a hair. But Wiggins still eager to fight back on the inside in the corners. Side-by-side racing between these two drivers. And no one looking to make it 3 wide just yet. But a lot of drivers moving to the outside. Bittler almost got into Pressey, and Pressey shot up the track a little bit. But the question is, where do the cars behind Pressey and Wiggins go? Because there's not a lot of room to work with, and you have to make that run stick. Because if you stall out up top, you're going straight to the back of the field, and you lose positions instead of gaining the 1 or 2 that you're open. But Wiggins moving up the track a little bit, encroaching on Pressey's space. Luckily, they don't make contact as Pressey went a little bit higher than normal that time by. But still side by side between Pressey and Wiggins. Wiggins nosing ahead on the inside. Was clear for a second, but Pressey's going to get a run down the back straightaway and close up that gap. So Wiggins not able to clear up top. You can see Wiggins starting to slide up in the corners, while Pressey is doing a good job of holding his line. But the question is, if Wiggins keeps sliding up like that, when does Mark Sikoshi or whatever car is behind him try and take advantage of the lane that's opening up on the bottom? And that question might be answered right now as Sikoshi peeks to the inside of Wiggins. Wiggins shuts the door in his face. You see just how much Wiggins is sliding up in the corner, at least half a lane, getting really close to Pressey. And Bittler with a huge head of steam, thought about making it 3 wide, but had nowhere to go. had abandoned a little bit of contact between Wiggins and Pressey as Pressey tried to pinch, and Wiggins slid up the track. Luckily, no one got turned, but Wiggins able to clear Pressey. If I was Pressey, I would have tried to cut down to the inside, but he tried to go outside and was not able to make that work, so he had to back out of it. So Wiggins still in the lead, and now Partridge into third, right behind Brian Wiggins. And Partridge is the type to take an opportunity when he sees it. So Wiggins really has to seal off that bottom lane, and here comes Partridge to the inside of Wiggins down the back straightaway, but not able to get a run to get to the inside of Wiggins. 2x2, 3 rows deep here, coming to lap number 21. Both lanes about dead even, but give the advantage to Nicholas Pressey. He's getting a big help from Bittler, but Wiggins still taking the shortest way around the corners. I think the only way Partridge is going to get to the inside of Wiggins is if he gets a big run out of the corners here and makes a daring move. But the question is, when will that happen? As Pressey gets a big shove across the line, going to lead that lap. Still side by side, coming down the back straightaway, approaching halfway, but a little bit of a weird bump from Bittler gets Pressey into the wall. That's going to kill the outside line's momentum. You saw Crumley got into the wall a little bit as well. Can Partridge clear up top to get in front of Pressey? Looks like he could have done it, but it looks like he's not going to opt to do so. But Wiggins moves up the track. This might open the door for Ray Partridge to get to his inside with help from Colin English. Partridge to the inside of Wiggins and Pressey to the outside of Brian Wiggins. But Partridge's run stalled as he was on the far inside, and Wiggins was able to retake the inside line. So we're back to Wiggins versus Pressey for the lead, coming to the halfway mark right here. Seven cars out of the 9 still in the battle for the lead right here. And there's the pace between Wiggins and Pressey still about dead even, as Bittler really shot up the track. That's going to hurt Pressey's ability to stay alongside Wiggins in the corners, but Bittler, with help from Sakoshi, gets right back up there. And man, Pressey can't aggressively pinch at all with Wiggins drifting up the track like that. So it's making Wiggins' job really hard, but it's also making the cars behind him job really hard, as Bittler makes a daring move to the middle. Going to move Pressey all the way up top, and he's going to fight Wiggins on the outside as Pressey has to file in right behind him. Great move by Bittler to start leading the outside line, but he's still not going to be able to take the lead, but he's going to nose ahead for just a moment on lap number 26. So side by side with Wiggins and Bittler down the back straightaway. Wiggins getting pushed by Partridge, but Bittler gets hit by Pressey. Colton English hard into the wall, and I think the only cars to make it out from that was Wiggins and Ray Partridge. That was a weird bump from Pressey to send Bittler around, and that is what ostensibly killed the field right there. Let's get a replay on that to see what happened, because so much happened in just a short span of time. So taking a look at Pressey right here, you can see he's all over the back end of Bittler. And maybe he just had a weird bump that pushed Bittler into Wiggins, and then Bittler, trying to save the car, just shoots into the outside and then bounces off the wall. That collects Pressey, and then Colin English's luck runs out as he just barely gets clipped, and he goes hard into the outside wall. Both Pressey and Bittler bouncing off the wall. You can see English getting getting to the outside wall. Sakoshi has damage on the front end as well. Jason Crumley, there's no way he avoided all of that, right? Well, Jason Crumley does it again, able to avoid a field-wrecking accident once again, like in the All-Star race, this time with some savvy braking. Instead of the seas parting for him, but either way, all that riding in the back definitely helping him out, as he had a lot more time to react to the situation unfolding in front of him. And it looks like the only 3 cars to make it out of this is going to be Ray Partridge, Jason Crumley, and Brian Wiggins. So 3 cars remain out of the 9 that started this race. Pace car lights are off, so it's going to be Ray Partridge leading the field to the second restart of the race with 22 laps to go. Actually, Mark Sakoshi was able to get his car repaired, and he's able to, and it looks like he doesn't really have any issues with that, any damage on that front end. So it looks like we might actually have a 4-car battle for the win here. So instead of 2/3 of the field being taken out in that wreck, it's only about half. But another single file restart. But this time it's going to be Ray Partridge leading this remainder of 4 cars to the green flag. Definitely going to be interesting to see how Sakoshi's car handles in comparison to the 3 cars in front of him, since he had to get repairs done on the front end of that car. And green flag is out. Partridge with a good start. Crumley about 3/10 behind, and he had a hard time getting through the gears in car number 9. Wiggins gonna fire past him. Same with Sakoshi. So it looks like Mark Sakoshi does not have any trouble at all with that number 2 car. And now these 3 have to catch the number 7 of Ray Partridge, which shouldn't be too hard of a thing now that they're in their draft. But now Crumley making a move on Sakoshi on the inside. 20 laps to go. 4 cars duking it out for the lead here, as Wiggins now makes a move to the high side on Partridge. Side by side for the lead, and side by side for third as well. Partridge going to lead across the stripe with Wiggins on his outside. Partridge going to have the advantage in the corners here. But Wiggins with a big head of steam down the back straightaway, going to have the advantage entering the corner. But Partridge with no help behind him. Oh, a little bit of contact between Partridge and Wiggins. Wiggins really tried pinching Partridge down there, and Partridge moved up just a little bit, and that caused a little bit of contact. Luckily, it didn't cause a wreck. But Partridge going to be able to clear Wiggins out of turn 2. But Wiggins going to get the run off the corner, going to pull alongside that number 7 car entering turn 3. Wiggins almost getting into Partridge again. Had to move up the track to not hit him. Crumley getting closer to Partridge, sensing blood in the water. Partridge once again going to clear Wiggins. Wiggins going to try to shoot down low. Partridge going to try and seal the bottom. A little bit of contact between Wiggins and Partridge. Wiggins had to get out of it to not wreck Partridge, but did give him a little of a bump to send a message. But now Sakoshi on the outside of Wiggins. And yeah, he doesn't have anyone to help him, so he's going to slide back a little bit. Wiggins going to try the outside once again. No one helping Ray Partridge on the inside. Sakoshi thought about making a 3 wide, but had to get out of it. So Partridge with no pressure right now besides Mark Sakoshi right behind him. And now Sakoshi going to the outside of Partridge to battle for the lead here. With 15 laps to go, Partridge holding strong on the bottom. Wiggins thought about making a 3 wide, coming into turn 3, not able to find the space to make it happen cleanly. Crumley waiting for an all-star type event to happen once again here. But Partridge got on the grass a little bit. That's going to kill his momentum. Wiggins going to shoot the gap and make it 3 wide, but he's not clear of Partridge just yet. He got clear of Sakoshi. Sakoshi backed off and now is behind Wiggins. But a little bit of a misstep from Partridge. He clipped the grass and had to lose a little bit of momentum. Contact between Partridge and Wiggins for the lead. Wiggins gets moved up the track a little bit. It's going to allow Partridge to regain some time. And Partridge going to nose ahead of Wiggins coming into turns 1 and 2. Sakoshi going to try to get a big run on Wiggins. Maybe try to force a 3 wide in the middle here. And yes, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go to the middle. Wiggins up top. Partridge all the way on the bottom. Wiggins in the marbles up top. And now he's going to have to be relegated to the car pushing the outside line. Side by side for the lead. Sakoshi has the advantage across the start-finish line. Partridge on the bottom. He's going to have the better experience through 1 and 2. Is he going to be able to clear Sakoshi? No, not yet. But Partridge now has to deal with both Wiggins and Crumley thinking about making a move on it and forcing it 3 wide. Partridge doing a good job of managing his lead, but with a big run from Sakoshi and a big run from Crumley. He has to block Crumley. Crumley has to get out of it. Partridge still leading the way. 11 laps to go here at Atlanta in the National Sim Racing Iroc Series. And Wiggins looking to the outside of Sakoshi, but Sakoshi able to defend. Sakoshi just trying to get the big run to try and force an error from Partridge, but Partridge, besides that little clip in the grass earlier, has been very steady. Big run coming from Wiggins. He's going to make it 3 wide, almost contact with Sakoshi. Crumley's going to try to push Partridge to keep the lead. Sakoshi's going to slide back to the second car on the outside, but contact between Partridge and Wiggins, and oh, they all get together. Caution is out. Sakoshi's car is destroyed. Heavy damage to the right front of Partridge. And we're going to need a replay to see what happened, because they went 4 wide for a second and then just started bouncing off each other. So let's get a replay real quick to see what exactly happened to the 4 cars that remain in this race. So currently looking at Ray Partridge. Wiggins is coming down the track. They both bang doors, and that sends Partridge up the track trying to free himself from Wiggins. And then I think Sakoshi came down trying to make a move on Partridge, then got into Crumley, and that put Sakoshi hard into the wall. And Partridge already got some pretty heavy damage from hitting the wall, and I think the toe in that car is all out of sorts. But the only 2 cars I think that didn't get any damage from that is Brian Wiggins and Jason Crumley. You can see the damage on the front end on both sides for Ray Partridge. Actually, Crumley did get some damage from that. The right front of that car is pretty heavily pushed in. Mark Sakoshi did get a damage repair flag from that incident, so he's going to have to spend a little bit of time in pit lane getting mandatory repairs done on that number 2 Corvette. But Wiggins not coming into pit lane. Partridge might be able to get most of that damage repaired, since it looked pretty minimal compared to Sakoshi and Crumley. So you see the right front on that car is well and truly banged up. That entire right side is pretty banged up. But coming out of it, smelling like a bunch of roses, is Brian Wiggins, who didn't really get any damage from that, besides some left rear damage that shouldn't affect his car too badly. You can see right by his nameplate on the side, there's some scrapes there, but I don't think that should affect his car's performance too much. So, yeah, Crumley and Partridge both getting out of pit lane. Sakoshi's not going to be able to get out of pit lane. So he's going to go a lap down. I don't think that 2 car is going to be coming out back on track anytime soon. But Jason Crumley still has some right front damage. Let's look at Ray Partridge. And he still got damage on both the left and right front. So that's going to be interesting to see how these cars handle compared to the mostly clean car of Brian Wiggins, as they're catching up to the back of that number 5 car right now. So the field, or rather the 2 cars coming out of pit lane, just catching up to the back end of Wiggins in turn 3. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these cars handle in comparison to that number 5 car. Pace car is in. It's up to Brian Wiggins to hit the gas. Green flag is out. Wiggins with a good start over Crumley and Partridge. Crumley and Partridge do not really fire off that well, but they should be able to reap the benefits of Wiggins' draft. With 6 laps to go here, it might be a three pony race here if Partridge can stay in the draft of Crumley and Wiggins. The question is anyone going to be able to pass Brian Wiggins with their damaged cars? Crumley's going to make an attempt to try and go high on Wiggins, but not going to have the momentum to do so, but going to pull it down the track and try to get a run down the back straightaway here. Crumley to the outside of Wiggins. He's really going to have to pinch that number 5 car if he wants to stay alongside him. Partridge very slow to catch up to these cars in front. So definite some aero damage on that number 7 car. 4 laps to go here. Crumley trying to find a way around Wiggins. Wiggins blocking all the way to the white line. Crumley needs to make a drastic move using that draft at the last moment to at least get alongside Wiggins. He's gonna try to use that draft to get alongside him coming into turn 1, but he's gonna get cleared by Wiggins pretty quickly. Wiggins blocking to the bottom once again down the back straightaway. Crumley's a little bit further up along the side of Wiggins, but he needs to be pinching Wiggins more to... He needs to be pinching Wiggins more if he wants to stay alongside of him. 3 laps to go here, or 2 laps to go, I apologize, here at Atlanta. Partridge going to try and help Crumley out as much as possible. This is a great chance for Crumley to pull up alongside Wiggins, but I think he waited a little bit too long. He's at his door, but he's still not pinching. Crumley choosing not to get anywhere near the side of that number 5 as Partridge clips the grass. He's gonna do a 4-wheel slide. White flag in the air. It's a 2-car race between Brian Wiggins and Jason Crumley for the win. Crumley gonna try one last desperate maneuver down the back straightaway. Gonna tail that number 5 car. Gonna try to maybe get a run coming to the line. He's got the run right now. Gonna try to pull high, but it's gonna be Brian Wiggins taking the win over Jason Crumley. And Ray Partridge is gonna come home in 3rd, the last car running right now. So Partridge giving Wiggins some celebratory contact after the race. But let's get to your finishing results for the National Sim Racing Iroc Series at Atlanta. Winning the race is Brian Wiggins, and coming home in 2nd to back up his all-star win is going to be Jason Crumley in car number 9. In 3rd, it's Ray Partridge, and then he's the last car to actually finish this race. Mark Sakoshi, the first car to DNF in 4th, then followed by Nicholas Pressey. In 6th, it's John Bittler, then Colton English, Dawson Kent, and Robert Wiggins, rounding out your 9 entrants for this race. Don't go anywhere. We have driver interviews in just one moment. Please stand by. Okay, we're back with the National Sim Racing All-Star Race, and we have two of our top three finishers in the waiting room. So we'll start off with our winner, Brian Wiggins. Oh, and then okay, so we're gonna have all three of the top three interviewed. That's good. So let's start off with Brian Wiggins coming home in first. Coming home P1, it's Brian Wiggins in the National Sim Racing Iroc Series race at Atlanta, coming home with the victory. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were doing a great job holding the lead, but we saw that through the midsection of the run, you were starting to slide up a little bit on entry. Was that just because the tires were starting to get worn and it was just trying to hold it wide open? The car started to slide up if you're running the bottom a little bit.
There's a little bit of that. Also, I kind of was just trying to side draft Pressy a little bit when he was on my outside. He was starting to make incremental gains there, and so I wanted to make it more difficult for him. So I wanted to kind of force him to be closer to the wall on entry. Um, I don't know if it worked or not, but that was my plan anyway.
Well, either way, it certainly paid off in your favor because you came home with the win. With that last caution, I mean, it kind of involved the last four drivers in the field. So I kind of want your perspective on what happened during that last caution.
Shoot, man, I don't know. I was on the bottom, and next thing I know, somebody come down and hit me. I didn't have a chance to see the replay yet, but it's all good fun, man. Right? That's what the IROC series is all about. All of us are gonna go out there and go for it, and that's what I did. I went for it.
Yes, sir, and you went for it and worked out. So before we let you go and celebrate your IROC win just a little bit more, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the guys for coming out and racing. It's a lot of fun when we do these IROC deals, and thank Mark for putting it together, and thank you, Garrett. We really appreciate you. And he's the voice of our league, man. So we like that. And of course, we got to thank John Bidler, and IRD Racing for sponsoring this whole deal.
All right. Well, that's Brian Wiggins, race winner for the National Sim Racing IROC Series race at Atlanta. We look forward to seeing you when we go to South Boston.
All right, man. See ya.
All right. And coming home in a second, it's going to be Jason Crumley in car number 9. Let's get him into the booth. Jason Crumley coming home a second place to back up his All-Star win yesterday. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So coming home second, not too bad. What do you think could have gone differently on that last lap for you to get past Wiggins for the win?
Honestly, if the only way I was going to get by him is if I would have put the front bumper to him to spin him out, and that's just not the way I race. He races me clean, I race him clean, so there was nothing I could do. I could get to his outside, but I could never get past him. I think I had too much damage on the front end of mine after that contact back on 41.
Well, I mean, either way, it still resulted in a very strong second place finish, and it looked like for most of the time you were hanging in the back waiting for a big wreck, and it finally happened. Was that your plan for? Was that your strategy? For this
Kinda, yeah.
race?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because with these cars, they're they're unpredictable as it is, and yeah, I was trying like just like last night, just don't get caught up in anybody else's messes. So yeah, hanging out the back with these is a little bit more of a safer bet.
Well, I tell you what, it paid off. So before we let you go and ride the good momentum of a solid second place finish here in the IROC series, do you have any people or sponsors you'd want to thank before we let you go?
I thank Mark Sikosi for putting this on. Thank y'all for broadcasting this. Um, I like I said, thank you to my family for allowing me to take time to be able to do this, and that's pretty much all I have.
All right, Jason Crumley with a great weekend, a win in the All-Star race and second place in the IROC series. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next Saturday when we go to South Boston, the Gen 4 Cup Series.
Appreciate it.
All right. And coming home in third is going to be Ray Partridge in car number 7. Let's get him into the booth. Ray Partridge coming home in third. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, you got a lot of damage on that last caution. Kind of want your perspective on what happened because it looks like it went 4 wide and then everything went to hell after that.
I was just trying to hold the bottom, and when I come up off the corner, I came a little bit off the bottom, I think, and Brian was squeezing me down, and I got into the side of him and almost felt like net code because it like drew me right into his car, and I felt like we had it saved off the corner, and then all of a sudden I got left hooked because Mark had hit Jason. So yeah, and then it was pretty much too much damage there.
So yeah, just an unfortunate set of circumstances. And earlier in the race, we did see you clip the grass a little bit. So I was wanting to ask you, like, if you clip the grass in it, does the car just pitch sideways? Because I know in the stock cars, you can get away with a little bit of trimming and it won't pitch you sideways. But it looked like you would get a huge loss of momentum from barely touching that grass down the front stretch.
Yeah, I did it twice. I did it early in the race, and then I did it when I got the bottom lane off of coming to the white flag there off of 4 on Jason. I got underneath him and was just gonna get in behind Brian and try to make a move on Brian off of 3 the next lap, but I hit that grass again and it got me sideways.
Well, in any case, even with a damaged car, you came home with a top 3 in the Iroc series. That's not too much to complain about. So before we let you go and ride the good momentum of a 3rd place finish in the Iroc series, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
I'd just like to thank BWR for teammates and Brian racing hard, but he's a good competitor, so it was a lot of fun. And congratulations to Jason for finishing second tonight. He got his first win last night, so that was pretty cool.
I'd agree. That is pretty cool. But that's Ray Partridge coming home in 3rd. We look forward to seeing what you can do in the Gen 4 Cup Series this Saturday at South Boston.
Yeah, I won't be there.
Oh, you won't? Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do in the next National Sim Racing broadcast.
Yeah, I'll be there on the next one. I'm missing this next week, though. Thank you.
All right. And with that all said and done, let me change the camera to scenic. I can get this little graphic off your screen. And thank you for watching the National Sim Racing Iroc Series broadcast here on my channel. Big thank you to IRD Racing, the king of carburetors, for making this broadcast possible. Thank you for watching. Big thanks to SKS Graphics and Andrew Schulte for their ticker and ticker help. And once again, thank you, the viewer, for watching the National Sim Racing Iroc Series. My name is Garrett Hess. You're watching my YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you next Saturday on Fireball Talks NASCAR for the South Boston race when the Gen 4 Cup Series takes on the itty bitty short track in South Boston. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you there. Y'all take it easy.